Hello everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. So apparently, there is a Freedom of Information request out against Loretta Lynch. Oh, you don't say. Now, look, I have two feelings about this. So the first feeling is a lot of stuff that people have said about her, for the most part, just seem outright hateful. Like, it wasn't necessarily pertinent to the conversation. A lot of this stuff just seems, I gotta be honest, kind of batshit crazy. That being said, if you honestly believe that the conversation she had with Bill Clinton purely revolved around her grandkids, I have a bridge on Mars to sell you. Absolutely, there was corruption. Bill Clinton had no right, no business, whether it was moral, ethical, or otherwise, to have any conversation with the person who was in charge of making the decision on whether his wife was going to get perp walked down D.C. On Wednesday, Judicial Watch announced they had filed a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit against the Department of Justice for records and transcripts connected to the meeting between Lynch and Bill Clinton on June 29, 2016. The Watchdog's group original request asked the Department of Justice Inspector General to investigate the meeting and requested any transcripts or records. They also requested any records of communication sent to or from the Office of Attorney General and the Office of Deputy Attorney General regarding the calendar and any references from day planners, calendars, and schedules from the Office of the Attorney General. Judicial Watch says they made the inquiry because the secretive talks between Lynch and Clinton created the appearance of a violation of law, ethical standards, and good judgment. I cannot agree with them more. On June 28th, Lynch met with Clinton aboard a private jet while he was parked at Sky Harbor International Airport in Phoenix. The 30-minute meeting occurred during the then investigation. That's weirdly put. During the then investigation into former Secretary of State's Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server during her tenure as U.S. top diplomat. At the time, Lynch's office was in charge of overseeing the investigation. The private meeting occurred only days before she was interviewed by the FBI and hours before the public release of the Benghazi report. Lynch claims that her meeting with Clinton did not involve these issues, but focus on their grandkids and golf. Our conversation was a great deal about grandchildren. It was primarily social and about our travel, and he mentioned golf he played in Phoenix. Lynch told Phoenix Police Department according to KNX. Lynch later said she regretted the meeting, saying, "It cast a cloud over the investigation." You think so, huh? You think so? So the person who, for the most part, was dealing with secret information and being pretty cavalier with that secret information, the person that Comey, when he was giving his testimony to the Senate, for the most, House or Senate, I don't remember which one, but essentially in that testimony, Comey kind of made this point that, yes, what she did was, for the most part, illegal, but no, we can't necessarily win the prosecution on it. That was Bill Clinton's wife, former President Bill Clinton's wife. And just so happened, during this particular investigation where his wife may have been literally perp walked, head down, handcuffs, arms behind her back, he ends up in a casual, run-of-the-mill, impromptu investigation with the person in charge of the case. Is it possible that he talked about grandkids? It's possible. Do I believe it? Hell no. Hell no. I don't believe that at all. This is not one of those that depends on your definition of what is. This is not the president getting a presidential blowjob. This is the president interacting with an active investigation of somebody who probably should have been locked up. That's what it boils down to. And look, she should be investigated for this. The problem with having a lack of integrity within politics in general, who's going to be an independent investigator that doesn't necessarily have an axe to grind? That's the problem. If you look at just the conservative comments on my particular video, for that matter, the stuff that they're talking about has no basis in reality. This does have a basis in reality. This is a flat fact of things that took place. It should be investigated. The person who was running in that particular election was under FBI scrutiny. that same person had emails released that showed her monetizing the State Department, essentially doing pay for play, giving favors for access. Now, whether the email thing was illegal or not, I think it was, but okay. If I get pulled over for pot, I'm going to jail, but Hillary Clinton can mess around with secret files and all this other stuff and get off scot-free. That's amazing. That's an amazing thing. In addition to getting off scot-free, was the FBI looking into the Clinton Foundation? Did Obama, being in that office, have something to do with the FBI not looking further into that into the Clinton Foundation, especially after those things were released, and especially after it became absolutely clear that she was taking money for favors? This should be investigated. This should be investigated. Look, I don't necessarily know how you would make that investigation work. You would have to at least be fair about it. Do I think the Republicans would be fair with the investigation? No. No. I don't think they would be any fairer with this particular investigation than I think the Obama administration was in having Hillary Clinton investigated. It's party politics. They have a vested interest in protecting or going after the person who's either on their side or either against their side. Even if you had a special prosecutor or something like that, but even that special prosecutor is being chosen by somebody with a political axe to grind. All things being equal, this woman should be investigated. All things being equal, Hillary Clinton should be investigated. Is it going to happen? Probably not. Probably not. And if it does happen, it's going to be a witch hunt, which at that point I'd be against. I'm okay with the process if the process is done with integrity. I have no good faith belief that any investigation into Lynch, Obama, or Hillary Clinton will be done with integrity. That's my hedge. That's why I'm sketchy about this whole thing. But she knows damn well she had no right, no reason whatsoever to be meeting with Bill Clinton in that airport. I don't care what they were talking about. She should have turned around and walked the other way. She had no right. Not only did it put a certain scrutiny over that particular case, it made her look bad. It made that office look bad. It made the entire thing with Hillary Clinton in general look like it was just political corruption or political back-scratching. If it was up to me, Hillary Clinton probably would have been in jail, if I'm being honest. That has nothing to do with some kind of conservative right-wing thing. It was based purely upon the information that was released in those emails and what took place in regards to the files that she had on her computer. Not to mention, she created a server in her basement and then consistently lied about it to try to say that Colin Powell had the same thing. Colin Powell was using like a Gmail account. She literally built a server in her basement. The only reason you would do that, is when you're trying to hide information from public view. Meaning you don't want that information to be available for Freedom of Information Act. So you're trying to hide that data. The question is, why is she trying to hide that data? Why is she trying to hide that data? There had to be a reason for it. A fair and honest investigation would have probably dug into those reasons a hell of a lot more than what they did. So, yes, this was corruption at its finest. Yes, Loretta Lynch should be investigated for it. Yes, the Freedom of Information request needs to be honored, and there should be an investigation in that process. No, that should not be a witch hunt, and no, that should not be politically motivated. There needs to be integrity in the system. That's what it boils down to. Meaning that until you're able to hold politicians accountable for the things that they're doing, whether that's murdering civilians, whether that's political corruption, whether that's having a conversation with a failed ex-president trying to save his wife from prosecution, I don't care what it is. Those things need to be tried. Those things need to be investigated. And if the person is responsible, they need to be prosecuted. I don't give a shit what their status is. I don't care. If you want integrity in the system, those things need to take place. So, I don't expect anything to come of this. By the same token, something should come of it, even if it's just an investigation. Alright guys, if you like the content, feel free to share, like, and subscribe. Thank you.